This is Jaron.net, and today we're going to show you how to upgrade and fully dismantle the Dell Inspiron N7110, which is the 2011 version of the Inspiron 17 with the 2nd gen Core i processors. So first things first is we're going to turn this huge thing over and remove the battery. Just take these to the side and slide the battery out. Say you want to upgrade the memory. This is a really easy task here. You simply remove this one screw there. Now with the screw loose, you simply got to pry this off, but you do just pry it up and off. So you just keep prying it up, kind of rough. There are these clips all on the edges here that kind of hold it in, so it can take a little bit of force, but you just take it off and pull it out. And now you have access to the memory. To remove the memory, just take both of these prongs here, the levers on each side, and simply push this one that way and that one that way at the same time until it's loose like this, and you just kind of wiggle it free. And now you can go ahead and put in two memory sticks here. You put one on the bottom and one on the top. Next, I'll show you how to remove the optical drive. All you need to do is simply remove this one screw, and now you can simply slide out the optical drive. If you want to replace it with, say, let's say you had a Blu-ray drive or whatever, you would simply remove this from the back and put it on the new one, and then you would take off this little bezel here and put that also on the new one. Next thing to do here is to remove the keyboard, and there's no actual screws to remove. To do that, just open the screen as far as it'll go, and there are 4 little plastic tabs here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we go. We'll stick this in here. Just pry it out. And once you get one edge done, or one tab, it might be easier just to get a credit card in there, in between the keyboard there, to kind of go all the way down. It's going to be kind of hard to get that tab release for each time there. So I'll just go down all the way on the keyboard here. Maybe use a screwdriver here to loosen the tab as I go down. Something snaps. So there, now the keyboard's a bit loose. So all you need to do now is kind of grab it and fold it back on itself, keeping in mind the ribbon cable is still attached, so you don't want to just pull it all the way off. Now there are also 2 more clips, one here and one right there. Right, so you heard that right there. So you'll take it like this, pull it up slightly, and then fold it back. And now you will see the ribbon cable. You need to remove this, you just kind of lift it up here. So you just take it, and you rotate it up like that, and pull the cable out. And now the keyboard can be removed. And now what we're going to do is remove the palm rest assembly, which is the whole top piece of plastic here. First thing we got to do is remove 11 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then these two again, 10 and 11. Now with the 11 bottom screws removed, we're going to flip it back over here. Open it back up as far as the screen can go. And now there are 4 more screws to remove. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then 3 more ribbon cables. There's one here, one there, and one there. So first we'll go ahead and remove the 4 remaining screws here. And now we'll get the 3 ribbon cables. The touchpad one, which is just flipping this up like the keyboard did. Like that. And the same with this one here. Just flip it up, and then flip that one up there. And if you can pull any of these out now, go ahead. Now, basically all you need to do is just try to find a way to start. Now, I don't know if everyone's laptop will be the same, but I found that it's relatively easy to get my thumbnail in here, kind of pry it out a little bit, and then get the edge of my credit card and get it in the crack between the palm rest and the bezel here. And I'll show you what I mean. And then from here, just go all the way up and down, getting it loose. Going all the way across, and then once you get basically the 2 sides here and the bottom, you should be able to kind of just lift it up like this until it gets the back clips done. And then now you have the entire palm rest assembly up, and you can see here the touchpad, the accessory buttons, and the power button here. If you needed to replace the buttons, simply remove their screws and the cables, replace them. 3 screws here, the cables, another screw there, a little clip in the cable. So that's that. And now we have access to the hard drive. There's 3 screws to remove. One here, here, here. And just take the hard drive and slide it this way to loosen it from the connector here. And then just pull it up. Careful though, as you can see, now it's kind of top heavy. So you'll either want to rotate the screen back a bit here. Now to replace the hard drive, just remove the 2 screws on either side. Get the hard drive, put in your new one, slide it back in. Now if you wanted to remove the Wi-Fi card or the WiMAX or 3G card would be here. screwed in with this screw. And right here is the Wi-Fi card with this screw and the antennas. All you need to do is remove the antennas and just pry them up like that. There's one, and there's two. Remember how they went on. Then remove the single screw here. And once the screw is loose, the card should kind of bounce up like this. And like the memory, just kind of wiggle it free and pull it out. Same with the WiMAX card. It'll be a similar size card with antennas and all that. And now if you want to remove the subwoofer, it's right there. And the only thing that's holding it in at this moment is this cable connection here. What you want to do is try to get some pliers, little grips like that. White connector there. Pull it out like so. And then from there, you can just kind of pull the subwoofer out. And there's the itty bitty subwoofer. Next we have the status light board, which is the LED panel here. Like with the other ribbon cables, you want to go ahead and flip this up there and then remove the single screw, holding it into place. We'll pull out the cable, and this just comes loose like that. Next to remove are the speakers, and they too, like the subwoofer, aren't being held in by anything anymore, so they will just lift out. There's one speaker here, one speaker there. First, what you want to do is remove the cable here. Be careful not to scratch the motherboard or anything. So there you go. Now, when you remove the speakers, be mindful of how the cable is routed here, just so you can remember how to put it back in there so it doesn't get pinched by the palm rest being put back on or any screws or anything like that. So now we're just going to pull it out, get it free from all the little cable guides here. So there's the speaker assembly, and now we're going to remove the thermal fan, which is just the fan that cools the system down. Got to remove the ribbon cable here and then the two screws holding it down. But it is actually a pretty loose connection here. So you should be okay to just pull it by the cables like that. And from here, just remove the remaining screws. But now with the screws removed, this should just lift out. So now there's going to be 5 screws. The manual says 6, but I can only find 5. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then there's going to be 2 ribbon cables here, one for the camera and one for the AC adapter, and then one for the display. So first off, we'll go ahead and remove the one for the display. This is another one where you flip up the little latch here, like so. Just kind of slide it out like that. It's pretty easy. Maybe want to go ahead and kind of wiggle it free of its little section right there. Now you've got, go ahead and remove the tape. So that's free. And now there's the AC adapter one here. I'll go ahead and get it free. Just kind of pull on the wires to get it free here. Alright, so we got all the ribbon cables removed. Now we got to remove the couple of screws here. Now in the Dell manual it states that now you should be able to remove the main board. However, it also states there should be a 6th screw right there, but that isn't a screw. And I've tried, and I can't lift that out. It's still attached to the I/O board. So what you can actually do is remove the I/O board and the main board as one connected unit. So that means first that you have to remove the rear hinge cover. So let's go ahead and do that. And to do that, we need to remove 4 screws on the bottom. So now you have to actually flip over the computer, and just to be sure, let's go ahead and put back in a couple of the screws just so the motherboard doesn't get loose here, just for safe measures. Put that one in and that one. So we'll go ahead and close it now. Flip it over. And the 4 screws you want to remove are the 2 here and 2 there. Now with those screws removed, you now have to push 2 tabs to release the hinge cover. There's one here and there's one here. So just get here and loosen it there. See how that went down a little bit? Do it again here and show you. Now we flip it back over. Now before removing the hinge cover, we need to remove the display assembly. So with it flipped over, we need to remove these 2 screws here, the 2 in the middle here. And now we flip it back over. And now take note of how all the cables are routed here, so you know how to put it back once you reassemble the display. Now what we need to do is remove the 2 screws on each side holding on the display brackets. There's one there, and there's one there and one there. Once you get it loose a little bit, it might be good to need to hold the display with your other hand, just in case it starts to get loose and wants to fall out. And 4. So now with the 4 screws loose and all the cables loose, this should just... So now with the display removed, we can remove the hinge cover here, and it should just kind of pop off here. like so. And now the last thing to remove in order to remove the I/O board along with the main board is a single screw here. We'll go ahead and don't forget to remove the 2 remaining motherboard screws we put back in there because we had to flip it over earlier. So now with these 5 screws removed for the main board and this one for the I/O board, we should now be able to pull this out. And the only advice I have is just be slow and gentle and try to find out where it's loose. You may want to go ahead and take the case like this and pry it out a little bit so you have some clearance. So this is kind of, there's little clips here holding in the heat sink. So here's getting a little loose now. So now I have the main board out. Let's go ahead and see over here. But I wasn't able to pull it apart. It's really stuck on there. Now, supposedly you're supposed to be able to. I mean, maybe you can try harder. I was kind of getting scared that it'd break it, but as you can see, I mean, it should be possible to remove it. It's not like screwed in or anything there. So it's up to you what you want to try to do. And now here, if you want to remove the AC adapter plug, you just simply need to remove this one screw here, right there, and unroute the cable here. Let's get out. All these little here. And there you go. So you have the main board out. You can replace what you need to do. I'm going to take it one step further here and show you how to remove the heatsink. If you have some kind of soft material, that would be a good idea to use. Now we're going to remove the thermal cooling assembly, which is the heatsink. And to do that, you simply just remove the screws in the order that they're labeled on the heatsink itself. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You can see the little numbers right there. So we'll go ahead and first do number 1. So here's 1.
And also note that when you unscrew these screws, they don't actually get removed from the heatsink. They're stuck in there with little springs. So while you can loosen them, they don't actually get. They actually can't be removed from the heatsink.
3, 4, 4, now 5, and 6. So now with all the screws removed, you should be able to just kind of pry it off. There's that. Now all along here, these are kind of stuck to the chips. They're stuck on there pretty good. So what you can try doing is start from over here. Just take it off. And you'll notice here that some of the thermal pads got left behind. So you want to attach them back to the new motherboard if you need to. If you don't get new ones. If you don't have any other ones, just kind of peel them off and put them back on there. And now, to remove the processor, simply turn this screw here, the unlock position. There. Grab it by the edges here, pull it up, and remove it. So there you go. That was the dismantling of the Dell 17R. Stay tuned for a reassembly guide as well as a pictorial guide on jren.net.